guys, it's Jen. I have this idea and I have no idea if it's gonna work, okay? I think it's always so cool to watch artists work. Two specific ones that I love are Nerdforge and Jazza. They're both, it's fascinating what they can do. And a lot of times when I tell people I'm a writer, they just kind of go, what is that like? What do you do? The writing process is kind of a mystery, apparently, to a lot of people. And I kind of want to create my own channel that is like those, with the art being writing. And it's gonna be an interesting path, and I'm so excited to get started and to make a whole ton of mistakes that I can learn from, and hopefully make the next video better. So I'm super excited to get going, and here we go. So to introduce this story, Vocal.media is a platform that allows writers to post short stories of the nonfiction and fiction variety. And they also hold challenges quite frequently. On May 9th of this year, Vocal announced a challenge. It was to create the first chapter of a fantasy novel. The only requirements were that it has to start with the sentence, "There weren't always dragons in the valley," and have to be between 600 and 5,000 words long, along with adhering to all their community guidelines and so on, the legalese. And it was due June 6th. I thought this was a great challenge and I wanted to take it up. However, in that time, I had a vacation to Vegas. So I went to Vegas, a great time, and at the end of it, I got COVID. So I'm stuck in Vegas, sick, for, a week later than planned. As I start coming out of COVID, as I start to feel a little bit better, I start generating ideas of how to get it going. And so by the end of May, I started writing down some ideas, some opening paragraphs. So on June 2nd, I started to really write it down. And remember, the application is due on June 6th. The time between June 2nd and June 5th was when I wrote the story. Actually got it down on paper. And so that is the story of how this first chapter came into being. And I hope you like it. So this is me basically just trying to figure some ideas out. When I do that, the parentheses, that means I'm talking to myself, generally giving me like, rah, rah, you can do it kind of moments. And that's one thing I like to do if I take a note in my head while I'm writing of like, oh, don't use this word too much, or this is going on. Instead of going back and fixing it right then and there, I just, again, do the parentheses, make a note of it, keep going. This is the first draft, and you got to get something on the paper in order to work on it. So this is what I call the stream of consciousness stage, when I really just, I sit down, I put in my headphones, and I just write. I write whatever comes to mind, and I try to just do absolutely zero editing, again, except for those parentheses, and I try to get the entire idea down on paper, or on document. So this is Scrivener. If you've never worked with that interface before, this is how I have mine set up. It can be very individualized, and I recommend it or anything like it to anyone doing novel writing in particular. It really helps you stay organized. And once I got Scrivener, I could never go back to just using Word or again, its equivalent. So what you see here is that I have two different kind of versions that I had created in Vegas and during my stream of consciousness writing. Also, some people call stream of consciousness free writing. My stream of consciousness, though, generally has a direction. Free writing can basically just be looking for a direction. I view free writing a little bit more looking for a direction, whereas stream of consciousness writing for me is more of like, okay, I have this direction, go with it. So what I like to do is if I have two different versions, in this version I have take one and take two. Take one talked about was an attempt at her walking down the street kind of thing, and take two was her talking to the dragon. Neither one really worked, but there were parts of both that I wanted to integrate. And so that's what I'm kind of doing here. As you can see, there's a take 3 that I'm currently working on. And so what I'm doing is I'm putting together the pieces of the 2 earlier versions. So this is the end of my main writing day, and I'm cleaning it up to send to my editor, mentor. Her name is Callie Stoker, and she is the manuscript doctor, and she's awesome. You can find a link to her website in the description below. She's an amazing mentor. She has helped my writing so much, and so I clean up my draft, doing spell checks, other smaller, small things like that, because again, this is a very rough version. You can see there's still like country A, country C. I have a really hard time with names. And so I just clean it up so that it's readable. for her because every Thursday night I send her words, and it's great. It's a great system that we've built over the years of working together. I am trying to make it a little bit nicer than normal. Sometimes really it is just the stream of consciousness and then a quick spell check before I send it to her. Part of that is because I had to learn to not delete good stuff because I had to learn that there were good things, and so if I went through and edited it before I even sent it to her, it turned out I was deleting a lot of my authorial voice. Over time, we came up with a system that worked and literally sending her exactly the stream of consciousness with a spell check, again, to make it readable. This is actually me writing and working on this. This is what I look like. So this is me actually doing the work. Again, remember I told you this was a test and I don't know what will work and what won't. I do kind of look like I'm seizuring as the videos are sped up by 3,000%. So I'm not sure if I'm going to continue that. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like seeing me working in the corner. So this is after Callie and I have talked, and I am applying the edits, the things we talked about. That's what you see on the right here are all of her suggestions of change, the notes that we both took. Okay, this is the final run through or polish. The project is due tomorrow and I like posting it, at least a day ahead of time. And so this is kind of my last day. So I'm doing the final touch-ups on it. That's how I wrote the story. If you want to hear the story, here's a link to the video of me reading the story. And if you want to read it, here's a link to it on Vocal, along with my profile on Vocal. And you can see, about a dozen other stories that I've written there. Please let me know what you liked. Let me know what you didn't like. Help me out here. I'd love any feedback from you guys. I'm making this for us, for me and for you. I want it to be fun for me to build and create, and I want it to be fun for you to watch and enjoy. I hope you really liked that experience. Thank you so much for watching the video. I can't wait to make another one like this, to improve on this format, or maybe just try an entirely different format. I'm super excited to be back, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!